Stay nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me. While I'm alone and blue as can be. Little dream of
What's up, Internet? Today, I'm going to be thinking out loud about Battlefield 1. A game that is mostly great, aside from some major hiccups in the campaign. So, to begin, I'm going to start off with the single player, which is good sometimes. The single player, it opens up fantastic. The opening level, or yeah, I guess you could call it a level, is fucking cool. It really gives you this sense that most of these infantrymen were like cannon fodder. Most of them didn't survive. It paints this picture that this war fucking sucked, and it did historically. Like, this was a horrible war, and when you die, you see the date that they died and when they were born, you know, and it's really powerful, and sure, it gameplay wise, it plays like your standard first-person shooter or mainstream first-person shooter, but that's fine because it's making a point, right? And then, okay, so now we get into these little vignettes that the game has you play through for a story, and these are pretty cool most of the time. No, not even most of the time. Sometimes. The first one, you play as this new guy, this new tank driver, and if you play this one first, it sets this like awesome tone, and it's very emotional. You start to actually care for these characters, and then it just ends. And there's a pigeon. And so I played that and I was like, all right, cool, this is cool, you know, let's play the next one. So the next one I played was you play as a fighter pilot, but he's not exactly the most honest of people. He's kind of a scumbag, but like one of those scumbags that you like, you know, kind of like Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow's he's not a good person, but you like him anyway. And he's narrating this story, and I'm not gonna talk about story beats, but by the end of it, you get the idea that, oh, you know, unreliable narrator, and then it ends, and it feels like that story in particular was justified to be that short, almost, kind of, sort of. And then the other ones, I'm not gonna go through each and individual one. I'm not gonna do that. And the rest of them, they just kind of continue this way. And some are even shorter. Some are like 2 levels long and mostly cutscenes. One of the stories took me 30 minutes to complete, and I kind of sat in my computer chair and I leaned back and I'm like, huh. I like didn't care about anything that happened, or like maybe a little bit, you know. But I mean, it just ends, and you're like, okay, like what was the point of this story? That's how I felt after playing all of these single player campaigns, or vignettes, not even campaign. Is what was the point of that, you know? Sure, it introduces you to the technology, right? Especially the technology you'll be using in the multiplayer, some of it. But then I'm just like, but wait, it doesn't, because the tanks don't function the same way in the multiplayer as they do in the campaign, and neither do the planes. The planes, or the plane, rather, in the campaign feels like the flying from Battlefront, which is not a compliment, by the way. It's fucking horrible. And I'm like, you have no control. And I'm like, why would you neuter the controls when players that have no experience with Battlefield, did not play the beta, they're gonna play this and then jump into the multiplayer and be like, whoa, this is totally different, you know? Like, for flying, it is fundamentally different, you know? Because, you know, in the campaign, you can't barrel roll, we can't do any cool evasive or evasive. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Anyway, and then the tank, it's like in the multiplayer you control only one portion of the tank. Some tanks you can control the main cannon and you're driving. Others you just control a machine gun and there's two cannons on the side that are played by other players. And I understand in single player they're not gonna have you just drive around and you just trust the AI to shoot at the right thing. That makes sense. Fine. The repairing speed is I played on hard mostly. There's one mission in particular in the Italian campaign which is frustrating as all hell because the flamer dudes take so much damage and then they just and then you're dead. It's annoying. Anyway, and that's why I turned it to normal and I changed it back because not a fucking pansy. Anyway, and so yeah, the repair speed for both the tank and the plane are not, it's not how it works in the multiplayer, right? In the plane, in the campaign, you can repair faster than you take damage and fly around and do all the normal stuff to get away from bad guys. In the multiplayer, it's super slow and you can't move while you repair, basically, which makes it fair and balanced. But in the campaign, that's not the case. If you're gonna use the campaign to train people for the multiplayer and let them use the stuff, why wouldn't you want it to control and play exactly like it will in the multiplayer? Whatever. Also, some of the things you're doing, aside from the piloting one, which is it's an unreliable narrator, so it kind of makes sense why you're doing these really ridiculous Call of Duty-esque feats. There's one campaign when you play as the Italians where you were just walking through dudes in this suit of armor and you're invincible. And I'm like, what? This is it's cartoonish. It's ridiculous. Even on hard. I'm like, what? This armor and there's a reason why we don't use metal plates to stop bullets. Because it doesn't work. And it's heavy and you're climbing up a mountain in this giant suit of armor. And I'm like, okay, calm down. And then, but it's so weird because I enjoyed it. It was fun, but tonally, it doesn't mix with what the campaign. It's trying to tell you a very serious story, very somber, trying to tell you World War I, it was horrible, and this is the terror and the horror and man. And I'm like, okay, but then why is your game Call of Duty? If that makes sense. Why is it ridiculous set pieces except for the one that makes sense because it's an unreliable narrator? And then, I don't know, whatever. And then it's it took me 6 hours to finish all of them. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with small campaigns in multiplayer games, as long as they're really good, right? If the reason why it's so short is because this is really good and you don't want to compromise that, right? And yeah, and then you just finish it and you're like, all right, I don't know what I was supposed to learn from that. It's such a huge missed opportunity. There's so much potential, and then they just get and kick it out the door. No trench warfare. What? What an awesome opportunity to show that and show how fucked up it was, by making you one of the lucky ones that didn't fucking get gunned down or something, if you want to do that, Or maybe tell the story where the last mission is, you're raging against a trench and then you just die and that's it. And there's not supposed to be a point, If its intention is to be pointless because you just, you died. It just feels like a huge missed opportunity. It feels authentic in the sense that the technology seems accurate. I'm not brushed up on my World War I history, but it seems authentic. Realism doesn't need to be realistic. It's a video game, right? I know you have to kind of make some of these concessions, right? Because it is a video game after all, and it wouldn't be fun if your guns kept jamming or if you fell in the mud and your gun wouldn't work, so you have to go find another one. No, yeah, that would suck, okay? But whatever. Enough about single player. On to the best part of the game and the reason why you should be buying it, the fucking multiplayer. The multiplayer is so much fucking fun. I cannot stress how fucking fun it is. It's so cool. This game is just fun, right? And all historical context or whatever, just chuck it. If you want a historically accurate multiplayer, get it and chuck it out the fucking window because you're not gonna find it here. Which I'll talk about the negatives about the multiplayer in a second. But oh my god, these maps are fucking awesome. And I see people on the internet, on forums and on Reddit and all that, fucking ragging on it. Like, these maps suck, they're okay, but internet, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? I'm about to lay it down for you. These maps are fucking awesome, except for the one desert one where it's the little ass towns and you get sniped all the time by people sitting on the dunes on like the side of the map. Oh, it's so annoying, especially when you're trying to take B in the middle. Fucking annoying. But yeah, we'll just kind of throw that map out. But the rest of them, awesome. My favorite, it personally, is, I forget what it's called, but it's one in the desert with the fortress. People that play the game, you know what I'm talking about. And I'll probably just flash it on the screen. That's my favorite. And I also like Saint Quentin Scar, which is another cool one because there's some actual samples of trench warfare when you play the operations game mode. Oh, the operations game mode. The operations is it's a new addition to Battlefield, and basically it's kind of like a hybrid between Rush and Conquest, where defending team defends two objectives that you have to take, right? Where you kind of have to, you kill all the enemies and you just kind of hold it with your teammates, and then you go to the other one and do the same thing. But the cool part is the defending team can take the one that you took back, right? So there's still like this kind of push and pull back and forth thing kind of going on between the two teams. And also it gives you like some historical context before the mission. Well, so while it's loading, it'll tell you like this, you know, if you win a battle that was actually lost in World War I, it'll tell you, oh, the British, if they would have won this battle, this would have happened, and it would have been a, you know, great victory or whatever. And it makes it feel like authentic. And then you jump in with an assault rifle and waste a bunch of people, and then the authenticity gets shot out the window again, like I mentioned earlier. It's really fun, and I think that's what really shines, and I think where the game really shows off more of the strategy and the tactics kind of stuff, if you have teams that are willing to do it, because most of the time it's just fucking chaos, and it's just utter lunacy. So and then there's the main mode that really shows off everything, is Conquest. Conquest, you know, it's still, you know, my favorite because that's kind of that's the Battlefield mode. Then there's Rush, which is, if you're new to Battlefield, it's basically kind of like the operations game mode, but it's older. And you have to plant these charges, essentially, on these objectives, on these two objectives. The enemy team can disarm it, and, you know, you just kind of do that, and you just move through different chunks of the map, much like in operations. This mode is, I've never really been a huge fan of Rush, except in Bad Company 2 I liked it, for some reason. It's partly because the game, the matches don't have the same scale as Conquest and as Operations. It's 24-player matches, so it feels smaller, right? It doesn't feel as chaotic, which I guess is for some people. I mean, I play it every now and then to get a change of pace from Conquest. And then there's Domination and Team Deathmatch, and those two, I guess, I don't even know why they have this in there, but I imagine it's for Call of Duty players making, you know, the switch to Battlefield, because Call of Duty this year, not looking too good. It's exactly what you'd expect. It's a small chunk of the bigger maps, and you play Team Deathmatch or Domination. And I think if you are a new player and you've never played Battlefield before, I think that's a great place to jump in. But if you're, you know, not a fucking pansy, then you'll jump straight to Conquest or Operations. But yeah, I think those do a good job of easing you in, and then you can get to the big boy stuff later. So, and then there's at time of recording, I am forgetting what it's called, but it's, you basically pick up pigeons, and your team have to like hold a pigeon, just then you can release it. Touched it once. I don't have a desire. It's chaotic and it's kind of fun, but I really don't have a desire to go back to it. Yeah, then there's that. But really, Operations and Conquest are reasons to stay. Alright, that about wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it somewhat. Still figuring out the whole YouTube game, as in the methodology behind making videos. Go ahead and like and subscribe. If you dislike, you know where that button is. And please leave a comment. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. The whole 16 of you. Alright, see you next time. Oh, next time, probably going to be talking about Titanfall 2, since that's the next shooter. Hopefully after Titanfall 2, I'll maybe try to cover something that's not a shooter, or maybe some indie stuff, maybe something that's come out, maybe something that's come out years gone. Something cool like that. All right, cool. See you later.